Hey there, I'm Beverly Sartain, and this podcast episode is about holistic coaching and what exactly I mean by the word holistic. Within this episode, I will be sharing with you more about the 4 levels of wellness, which are the mental level, the emotional level, the spiritual level, and the physical level. And I will be sharing with you the 10 guiding principles of holistic coaching. I hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome. I am so thrilled to be talking about holistic coaching with you today. It is my absolute pleasure to share holistic coaching with the world. I am such a fan of coaching, and it has been transformative for me, and I love to train other people on how to coach. And so today we're going to be talking about holistic coaching and what it is and why holistic coaching and what the benefits are. And so my hope and intention is to share just the power of coaching and share the power of coaching that is done through a holistic lens. So, my journey with coaching started 6 years ago, and I feel like it really has supported me in up-leveling my life. I always say my first transformation happened with spiritual psychology when I was going through a recovery and healing process 15 years ago. And I feel like my second big transformation and shift happened when I started to learn how to coach and started my own coaching business and participated in coaching with other coaches and surrounded myself with other coaches. And it's just really skyrocketed my confidence, my courage, just my clarity and my purpose. And so I really can't say enough about how wonderful I think coaching really is. And I love teaching people coaching because I think that it offers this amazing ripple effect where we can empower ourselves and leverage skills that we've gathered through life and professional experiences. And now we can share that with other people and we can support other people in feeling empowered and leveraging their life experiences and professional experiences. So it's quite a remarkable experience. It's so enjoyable. And so when I train people through the Holistic Coach Training Institute, we're really looking at helping people develop coaching skills through a holistic lens. And so the coaching skills that we help people develop are in alignment with the ICF, the International Coach Federation. And these coaching skills have been developed and researched by them. They have specific core competencies that happen within every coaching conversation to make sure that you're actually coaching somebody. And there are ethics and standards to operate by. And so that's why I really enjoy the ICF and I enjoy training people in regards to their core competencies, ethics, and standards, because I think it's a really good quality experience that we're offering people when we have those core competencies, ethics, and standards. And so then with those skills, we then add this holistic approach. And the specific holistic approach that I like to share with people is something that I learned through spiritual psychology. It's these 4 levels of wellness: the mental level, the emotional level, the physical level, and the spiritual level. And I find that when you coach with those 4 levels in mind, this is where people can have a really profound shift, change, breakthrough, transformation for themselves, because it's not just happening on one level. This is really important. We have to take all of those levels into consideration. And that's why I really like to share this approach with people, because it's taking a holistic approach to a person, not just an external approach, but also an internal approach. And so that's something really important to this holistic perspective, is that we're really working inside out versus outside in. And it's a very different perspective than you will usually find in coaching. Usually in coaching and in other areas of life, we're very focused on shifting the outside, rearranging the outside, doing things differently on the outside. And I have found that if we can focus on shifting things externally while we shift things internally, that is when we have the most profound shift and also the most long-lasting shift. And so I'm speaking somewhat from experience here because I received this learning from spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica when I was getting a master's degree in spiritual psychology. And I had the experiential experience at that time of working the mental, emotional, and physical and spiritual level in my own life. And so I had this really profound experience of those four levels, and I really got to experience the importance of looking at those four levels and being intentional and aware about those four levels in order to create what I was trying to create at that time. And so it made a lot of sense to me that you can't just work one level and reach the outcome that you're going for, that you have to look at the mental level and what's going on in your consciousness, what's going on in your mind, what are your beliefs, what are the stories, what are perhaps the misunderstandings that you're still holding on to that are actually getting in the way of what you're trying to create for yourself? And what does the beliefs or stories or thought process need to be in order to create what you truly want to be creating for yourself? Then I had to look at the emotional level, because that was always a level that I feel like I was sweeping under the rug and just trying to move beyond. But it was clear that there was a lot of emotions that were still present for me or getting in the way for me. And so again, just having awareness that that's there and that we can actually use feelings, we can use energy for our process, for what we're trying to create in our lives. The physical level was really the most common level to us all, is creating in physical world reality. And so this physical level of how do I take action and create something in my life, I think that's more commonplace to all of us. But not just looking at out there, again, looking at myself and my body, and what I was experiencing with myself was a really profound shift that happened for me. And then, of course, the spiritual level is just connection, connection to my true self, connection to other people, connection to nature, and looking at that as well, and having more of a well-rounded approach to myself, having more of a holistic approach to myself was really different. It was a really different way of being with myself, because I had always been focusing on the next accomplishment, the next thing I needed to do, the next, accolade that I wanted to have and create. And so um, I did those things and then felt a lot of emptiness. I didn't feel the fulfillment that I thought I was going to get. And that's because you can't get that fulfillment from that outside thing. It has to come from within. And then the joy of the experience plus doing the thing, that's what then creates more fulfillment for folks. So I'm very, very excited about sharing these levels with you, because I think this is something that makes holistic coaching different. And I also think that it's something that can make you as a coach really support your coachee, your client, in creating a big shift or transformation for themselves. When you are bringing even just this concept to people can be life changing. I can tell you from having students that have received this concept, I have seen it work wonders in their life when they hear the concept and they, tell me, I am really being mindful about how I am being with myself mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And it's created such a change for me because I wasn't looking at myself this way. And so, even just sharing this with a coachee or client can be really, really impactful. And they can have a really great insight or awareness for themselves, which is what coaching is all about. And perhaps they take it and do something differently because of it. I know that that was the case for me when I learned these 4 levels of wellness. And I've seen it in other people where they receive this concept and they really try it on in some certain way for themselves, and it's quite remarkable, with just one simple concept, what can shift and change for somebody. So I go into a bit more depth on these 4 levels in my book, Transcending Trauma: How I Used Spiritual Psychology to Heal My Life. And I will be sure to provide a link to the book in the show notes so that you have that as a resource if you'd like to hear a little bit more about my story and how I received spiritual psychology and how I specifically applied it to create results in my life. But this is one of the big concepts that I talk about in the book because it was something that I heard and it rang true and it resonated with my soul. And I started to work these different levels and I started to take better responsibility and care for myself around my own inner well-being. And I have continued to work these 4 levels and have continued to just see my expression expand because of these 4 levels and remaining mindful of these 4 levels. And so that's what I really like to share with people around holistic coaching is that, we share these 4 levels with people. So whatever your goal is that you're working on, whatever you're wanting to create in a partnership with somebody, a coaching partnership, that you can apply these 4 levels. You can look at this goal holistically and you can ask yourself, what needs to be true for me around the mental level, the emotional level, the spiritual level, and the physical level in order to create this thing? What might I need to be doing differently around these 4 levels in order to create this thing that I'm really passionate about, that feels really meaningful for me? And what's so beautiful about that is you start to take more ownership of what's going on in your consciousness and what's going on with you emotionally and what's going on with you physically and spiritually so that you can align with this goal that has heart and meaning for you and you can create that goal. And so it's not a matter then of shifting things around externally. It becomes a matter of shifting things around internally. And when you've got both of those, the internal and the external moving, then remarkable things can be created. So I love that with this holistic coaching approach, we're really starting to approach our coaching from the heart. It's less head and more heart. It's dropping from your head to your heart. It's less a matter of meeting somebody from your ego and thinking you have to do something, you have to fix something here, you have to provide value and results, you have to do the work. And we're really seeing our partner as resourceful, as connected, as able to access their own inner wisdom as, someone who has strengths and abilities and creativity and can come up with their own creative solutions. And it shifts that energy from I'm the one to they are the one. And my duty as the coach is to facilitate the space, to hold the loving space, and to work through the coaching process and support them in their own insights and awareness, their own insights and awareness, their own self discoveries, and getting curious with them about what they might do with those insights, awareness, and discoveries that they're having about themselves, if anything at all. And it's from this place, this heart centered place, this loving place that we're meeting people. And we're holding in the loving, the compassion, the non judgment. And from that place, incredible insights, awareness, and discoveries can come through. And you can let go of needing to be the one providing those insights, awareness, and discoveries. That's what I love about coaching. It really supports the person in seeing themselves as whole and complete and resourceful now. And we as the coach, fully buy into that our person is whole and complete and resourceful. So it's just an amazing partnering up and being with somebody. And one of the major things for me about being a holistic coach is that we're not just supporting other people on these 4 levels, we are supporting ourselves on these 4 levels too. This is such an important point to me because this is really how my healing journey began, is that I was a helper that was not helping from a healthy place. And so I had to go on a journey to look at that and to resolve that for myself so that I can now sit here and say that I am somebody who coaches from a healthy place. And I am somebody who continues to look at those 4 levels and work those 4 levels so that I can be the best me for myself. And then I can show up for somebody else from that healthy place. And so this is a really big point of my personal style and how I like to train people, is that we're looking at you too. We're supporting you and taking care of yourself too. We're supporting you and having insights, awareness, and discoveries about yourself too. And when you are being the demonstration of what it means to be holistic or operating through this holistic lens, that's what makes your coaching even more powerful and profound. Because it's not just an approach you're sharing with somebody else. You're being the demonstration of somebody who works this approach. And then you share this approach, these 4 levels, with somebody else. And it just takes on a much deeper meaning when we can be the demonstration of the work that we share with other people too. And I always say there's no such thing as perfection. And so when I'm talking about this, I'm never connected to any misunderstanding that you have to be perfect to be a coach, because there just really isn't such a thing. So dropping any of those misunderstandings or expectations that you have to have it all together in order to be an effective coach for somebody else. But the truth is that you are required, it is your duty to yourself to make sure that you are looking at yourself and that you are working on yourself so that you really can also be the best coach for somebody else. So I wanted to share with you the 10 guiding principles of holistic coaching so that you could hear a little bit more about what holistic coaching is. These principles have been created um, through researching a holistic approach through spiritual psychology and my learnings there on the 4 levels of wellness, and through my own experiences, my own life experiences and professional experiences working with people for many, many years now. So let me share these 10 principles with you, and then I'll highlight a couple that are favorites. So, number 1, the transformation happens on the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical levels, taking the whole person into consideration. Number 2, holistic coaching believes that everything rests in a web of interconnectedness. Number 3, holistic coaching focuses on supporting people in moving from coping to healing to thriving. Number 4, healing happens in a loving and supportive environment, not through judgment, shame, or guilt. Number 5, holistic coaching is about making changes from the inside out. Number 6, the overall goal of holistic coaching is to create well-being and fulfillment in all areas of life that are important to you. Number 7, holistic coaching offers the opportunity for you to create love, safety, and belonging for yourself. Number 8, change, healing, transformation are a process, not an event. Number 9, holistic coaching helps increase awareness of mind, body, and spirit. And number 10, holistic coaching is about finding the tools and techniques that you can enjoy and embody consistently. So, a favorite of the students that go through the Holistic Coach Certification Program, definitely number 3. Holistic coaching focuses on supporting people in moving from coping to healing to thriving. And I think that people really like that one because oftentimes we get stuck in coping. We get stuck in coping. We get stuck in surviving. And so people always like that one a lot because they like this idea that I can move beyond simply surviving and coping in my life. And I can actually heal or resolve what needs to be healed or resolved. And I can move into being a thriver. I can move into enjoying my life. I can move into creating what I want to create and living my full potential. And all those things are really important in coaching. You know, coaching is solution focused and forward thinking and all about what we want to create in our lives, what we want to be seeing and feeling and hearing in our lives. And so people just really love that idea of holistic coaching helping you move through coping to healing to thriving and beyond. Another favorite is that holistic coaching is about making changes from the inside out. And we have talked about that a little bit today, about this notion that we want to work inside out versus outside in. And that, you know, oftentimes if we're just trying to shuffle things around externally, we're not looking at what's going on within ourselves. If we continue to buy into stories, beliefs, and misunderstandings that are not conducive or in alignment to what we want to create, we're not going to create that thing. We're not. So it's not a matter of how much you rearrange or take action externally. If you're not taking any of that inner action to support yourself, it's going to be very difficult to create what you want to create externally. So I love that concept of really working inside out versus outside in. And then lastly, people really like this concept of change, healing, and transformation are a process, not an event. I think that that's always important to hear, that there's going to be a journey. There's going to be a journey. And I always try to share this with, students that come through the certification, but also when I'm coaching somebody, that we're going on a journey together, that there's going to be an unfolding that happens. And so change, healing, transformation, it's a process. It's not just going to happen as one event. It's going to happen as a process and as an unfolding. And can we enjoy the ride? Can we look for the learning? Can we get curious about what's coming up for us? Can we find joy in the experience, and have the greatest learning available and possible to us through the process? So these are some of the guiding principles. If you are interested in looking at them further, I will include them in the show notes for you so that you can see them there. And if these are resonating with you, and you are intrigued and you would like to hear more about our Holistic Coach Certification Program, then please know you can always reach out to us at info@holisticcoachtraininginstitute.com. That's our email. And you can always find us on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. And so my hope is today that you got to hear a little bit more about this concept of holistic coaching. I know that the word holistic gets thrown around quite often, and that word can mean many different things to people. And so my intention today was to clarify for you that when we talk about holistic, we're really thinking about those 4 levels of wellness: the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And that the benefit of using those 4 levels is that you're really helping somebody take a well-rounded approach to whatever goal they have. And by introducing that kind of a concept of the 4 levels, you're supporting them in looking at the inside. You're supporting them in drawing attention and awareness inwardly so that they can move things around inwardly in order to be in alignment with the goal that they are trying to create externally. And this concept alone can be very, very transformative for people who have maybe spent a lifetime simply looking at the goal line of life, simply looking at the next accomplishment, and maybe never spending a lot of time going inward and seeing how what's going on the inside is actually really impacting what they're trying to create externally. And so if you are intrigued by this and you want to learn more of these skills, I would absolutely love to share more of this work with you. Um, Coaching is something I love. I think it's an incredible process to go through because it stretches you beyond what you think you're capable of. And so many of us are in a comfort zone, in the status quo, and just kind of nestled into wherever we're at. And so it's pretty rare these days that you have an opportunity to stretch yourself beyond your comfort zone and what you think you're capable of. If there's only one thing that you take away from this episode, I hope that it is this notion that supporting others holistically on the 4 levels and supporting yourself holistically on the 4 levels makes for an incredibly powerful experience. If you're looking for next steps, please check out the episode notes. And thanks again for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you so much. And remembering that Holistic Coach Legacy is truly a path, it is not a destination. Grateful to be with you. Thank you.